This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hey, Jason Glick. Well, wait a second. What are you doing here?
Well, it's like, because this is like our 10th anniversary podcast, like I'm going back to our very first one where I talked about, the Aliens Omnibus and Mushishi. And, it's like I just did like a brief overview of certain volumes in those, like back in the day, but now I want to do like a full like accounting for the series because Mushishi, it's like was pretty great. It's like at least like I remember it being great. John, do you ever anything about it at all?
You know what? I watched the anime.
Yes.
And I really liked the anime. I thought it was great. Fantastic stuff.
Yes,
I love the art style, and I don't know, so you're just going to have to refresh my memory, because, it's been like 10 years? You'll have to refresh my memory. I really enjoyed the art style in the anime. So I'm assuming that's kind of mimicked. I mean, it's mimicking what was already put out in the manga. Am I correct?
Yes. In fact, it's like when I went back and listened to the original podcast, like I actually commented on how like I actually kind of I liked how the anime brought a sense of motion, like great sense of motion and color to the stories being told in volume 3 of the manga. I mean like it's like I said I came to the manga because of the anime as well because that's how things work. That's how things work in this in our country. It's like anime drives the manga, and that's how. That's how I got to following it. So, and it's like, and I'm glad I did because I think that the anime is a very good adaptation of the manga. It's like there's also other good stories in the manga as well. But I guess we should probably talk about the series itself. So it's basically Mushishi refers to it is actually the title of is actually a profession in the series. It's someone who deals with mushi, and mushi are basically kind of things that are kind of the building blocks of life. It's at one point it's described as hey, if you imagine if you take your hand, humans are kind of the very tips of your fingers. And then as you go down, it's there's animals, there's plant life, and then getting all the way down to say your elbow, that's where mushi are. Mushi, it's are just kind of how this they're little things that have a great impact on how everything else plays out above them. The series is very atmospheric, almost existential about how we interact with nature. The mushi themselves, they're not good or evil. They're just part of our existence, and whether or not they're actually they want to having a good or bad impact on human life. That's all dependent on how we use them as a series. Now, the best stories in Mushishi basically involve a sense of world building or a good detective yarn. Because they tell you about how how the cultures of Mushishi work in terms how they deal with mushi, whether it's either by destroying them or by finding a way for them to peacefully coexist with humanity. And also the detective aspect comes when our series protagonist Ginkgo tries to find a way to deal with the Mushishi the Mushishi of the month, for lack of a better term. So now, Ginkgo is he's a good protagonist of this series. He's silver-haired, one-eyed guy who who we learn more about his history as the series goes on. Mushishi doesn't have an overall arc to it, but there are various mythology episodes where we learn about Ginkgo's past. When he at the one point where he beats as a boy, before he lost his eye or changed or wanted having his hair color changed, meets he meets a woman who who introduces him to the mysteries of Mushi, but Ginkgo he's like I said, he's a good protagonist of the thing because he has a great curiosity about how the Mushi work, and he's not averse to seeing like how these like like how they interact with, like where messing with them will get you like sometimes he'll say like, oh, I know how these Mushi work, you don't want to do what you're doing. It's like, so like I'm gonna, and he'll try to like warn people away from a certain path, and other times he'll go, it's like this hasn't been done before. Why don't we see where this is going to go? So he's a good, like I said, he's a good protagonist in terms of like letting things, like I'm letting the story play out, and it's like and over these 10 volumes, there are definitely a lot more good stories than than bad. I don't think there are any truly bad Mushishi stories, but there are some that do crystallize into a formula. In fact, I think most of the best stories are in like the first half of this 10 volume run. Let's see, like you've got like stories like the first volume where called the Soft Horns, where Ginkgo encounters a boy who has horns growing out of his head, and he's able to hear certain voices. But this is also something that happened to his mother as well, and so now he has to figure out just how, like what happened to his mother and how to save this boy from dying in the same way that she did. Then you got another story. Then you got a story in Volume 2, which, looking at my notes for this, it's like Volume 2 had a lot of good stories. The Mountain Sleeps is about a Mushishi who's training a disciple, but is also trying to become is also trying to sacrifice himself to be a master of the mountain. And Master of the Mountain, it's kind of like you've all seen Princess Mononoke, right? Okay, well, it's like the thing that Ashitake encounters, and the one that like proves to be not really the big bad, but the nature presence that needs to be appeased and dealt with in order for everyone to live happily ever after as well. And there are like several masters of the mountain. It's like in Mushishi as well. This one in the Mountain Sleeps, he deals with how with the Mushishi who caused the death of a previous one and how he plans to atone as well, and Ginkgo's role in how that plays out too. The Sea of Brushstrokes is a mythology story where we learn about a girl who has a cursed mushi sealed within her leg. That's been part of her family line for several generations. It's like, and the only way that the mushi in her leg are able to be contained are through stories about how other mushi are dealt with, either by destruction or, as Ginkgo tells her, mushi that learn to live the mushi that learn to live with humanity as well. It's like, and it's like I said, it's an interesting story that tells you more about the Mushishi culture, and it's like, and also like how they pass down their history as well. It's like, and then there's like the Veil Spore, also in the same volume, where about a new bride who winds up getting attracting a spore on her wedding pilgrimage through the forest, and then giving birth to identical children who are also mushi, but they're also her children as well. It's like, how do you deal with these kids who they're kind of creepy, they're kind of strange, but they're also your children, and it's like it's not a lot of tough, interesting decisions right there. You've also got stuff that I talked about back in the day. The first one, like in Volume 3, like the Cry of Rust, which has like a mushi that are like rust, that are trying to inhibit people's movements, and the mute girl who has a connection to them, and how and how Ginkgo has to find a way to unlock how this girl is connected to them, and how they can find a way to get these mushi away from everyone. And then there's also White Living in the Inkstone, also from the same volume, which has like an inkstone that was that was created by through imprisoned Mushi, and robs people of their heat when they like when they use them. It's also um part of the property of a Mushishi fanboy or collector who shows up several times in the series, like like picking up like interesting items about like relating to Mushi, and I think it like will show up like try and try to deal with this guy as well. Just it's like it's kind of it's kind of fun. And then the fish gaze, also from volume 3, is like about like I said, it's about like what I mentioned in Ginkgo's earliest days, about how he met this one-eyed silver-haired woman and was initiated into the mysteries of Mushi as well. And also picking the empty cocoon from volume 4, about a woman who who masterminds the way Mushi communicate with each other over long distances through messages passed through certain cocoons. Now she had a twin sister that that they were working together in order to learn these tricks of this trade, but because of like how the Mushi work, she lost her sister to to the mysteries of this specific Mushi, and now like she's been trying for years to try and find a way to get her back. And Ginkgo offers his own expertise in trying to help her gain closure on this. Now, it's a good story that offers like lots of interesting bits about Mushi, such as the story of a Mushi who went through these caves, like these soft caves, to try and find a way through through these places that would normally cause people to be lost forever, and like how he laid out a chain that would like see you safely through these places. And like that's interesting Mushi, interesting stories, interesting world building, because like I want to know how did this guy find a way through these places in order to lay down a chain that would let people go safely through them. But at the same time, though, it's like the final page offers up a big old sloppy happy ending for this story, and it's like, well, it's like I don't want to like say anything against a good happy ending, but like the thing about a real happy ending is something that has to feel earned. And as Mushishi goes on, there's a lot of these stories that have happy endings that really don't feel earned. That it's like it's that they that in the end it's create that even for like some of the danger that they set up at some point, it's like it all kind of works out well in the end. And that's fine and all, but at the same time, you start kind of hoping that like they're for something different. Like I think that there are some parts of that the nature of Mushishi, of the Mushi themselves, they do kind of lend themselves to good to a good horror story. Like the idea of like they're like these things aren't inherently good or evil, but they kind of like depend on the humans themselves. Now there is one story late in the series about a Mushi that affects a human who's been living for 300 years through means that are quite gruesome and a little bit morbid. It's like and pretty wrong too, but that's like the closest the series gets to like dwelling in abject horror. Just that one bit, and even then, like it still kind of works out like fine for everyone involved. The more I read the series, especially as the series like went into in its second half, it's like you get the feeling that it does kind of like descend into like a formula, like how things are going to turn out. And while it's certainly never bad, it's like the imagination and awe that the first half stokes doesn't quite carry over to the second half. If I'm being completely honest as well. I mean, like I said, the entire series, like I said, it's like even in the back half, there are still some pretty good stories. In the final volume, which is a 3-in-1 edition, because the series was originally published by Del Rey, and it wrapped up. And the series wrapped up as they were going to be as they were transitioning over from being acquired by Kodansha's manga publishing operation. So they basically just churned out like a 3-in-1 edition to wrap up the series, which I am very grateful for. And that final story, which has Ginkgo encountering a human master of the mountain, is definitely one of the better ones of the of the back half. So so overall, yeah, I do think the series is worth reading. It's like I said, it's just, I guess if you really wanted like the best parts of it, you can get just get the first half, volumes 1 through 5. If you want to like get the entire series, like I said, you're not going to encounter like any bad stories. But like I said, it's like the first half is definitely better than the second. Now, as far as buying or acquiring their series, if you're going to pay for this in print, better open your fucking wallet, man, because this series is out of it. It was not licensed or issued by Kodansha. So if you're going to while some of the volumes are cheap, others will require you to pay upwards of $60 in print. So, but fortunately, Kodansha did reprint the series digitally. So if you want to pay like $11 per volume, or $20 for the final 3-in-1, or just wait until like a sale comes around. In fact, there's a big old Kodansha sale on right now. I believe you can, at Comixology. I believe you can get the entire series for $6 a volume, except for the final one, which will probably set you back a tenner and all. So there you go. But so yeah. So John, it's like, any thoughts on your end before I wrap this all up?
So, when you said the Mushishi of the week, you were saying it tends to be a little formulaic, but that doesn't
Mushishi
ruin
of the month.
Mushishi of the month, ladies and
Because
gentlemen.
I'm guessing this is a month. This starts to be a monthly series due to the every chapter is like 50 pages or so. So it's like I imagine it was, like I said, this wasn't a weekly series. It was a monthly series. So
okay, well, but I mean, still though, worth reading. Absolutely, right?
yeah. It was, like I said, it was good. It was good fun rediscovering the series as I like to reread it for this podcast. Definitely. Like I said, even though it was I was kind of disappointed, how things how it's really odd subject matter. Did kind of crystallize into a formula as things went on. I still really really enjoyed it. I still really enjoyed rereading it overall.
Okay. All right. Do you know what you're going to talk about next time?
Oh yeah, because next time, be sure to lock up the wolves. Don't ride down strange highways or look for rainbows in the dark. Instead, join up with the Metal Militia, heed the call of Cthulhu, face a thing that should not be in holy wars on Devil's Island. That's right, the mob rules that we use voodoo to seek the sign of the Southern Cross as Neon Knights, because it's time for DC's latest event, Metal. Be here to throw the horns in 2 weeks' time.
All right. Well, that sounds metal. Catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Click.
Laters.
Bye.